Julie Newmar, a resilient icon through the 1950s, remains unforgettable in the hearts of Catwoman fans. Behind the glitz and glamour, she had to deal with her own demons and suffer shame in silence, but nothing prepared her for the misery of needing a miracle to survive.
We're gonna play a game.
Join us as we delve into Julie's untold story. Julie Newmar, famous for portraying Catwoman in the Batman '66 TV series, has a fascinating story beyond the screen. Julia Shalane Newmar was born on August 16, 1933, in Los Angeles, California. She is the oldest of 3 siblings with 2 younger brothers, Peter and John. Her dad, Don Newmar, was an NFL player turned coach, and her mum, Helene, was a renowned fashion designer of Swedish and French descent. Julie's mother, Helene, had her own brand, Shalane, which was quite famous and worn by stars like Jean Harlow and Barbara Stanwyck. It wasn't quite a surprise that Julie and her siblings had unique experiences and made friends most people wouldn't encounter in their lifetime, because they grew up in an affluent area. Their parents ensured they understood the privilege, emphasizing that not everyone gets music lessons, dance lessons, or attends prestigious schools. As a teenager, vacations were not uncommon, but the first time she went on a vacation to Europe, she realized how fortunate she was. This realization made the trip even more unique, knowing that what she was experiencing was a dream for many others. It kept her humble, and she appreciated her parents instilling that mindset in all their children. When it came to skills and abilities, Julie excelled at pretty much everything. At 6 years old, she was already performing dances, and this extended even to things beyond her control, like her height, because she grew faster than girls her age, and the fact that she had a rare disease called Charcot-Marie Tooth. The disease that she'd lived with throughout her life was something that most people would term a death sentence because it didn't have a cure. CMT gradually damages the peripheral nerves of the arms and legs. This leads to loss of sensation in the affected area, muscle contractions, difficulty walking, and eventual crippling of the arms and legs. But somehow, she didn't let it stop her from any physical activity like somersaults and cartwheels in the backyard to mastering dance and swimming. In her first play, Alice in Wonderland, when she was just 5, something significant happened that made her stand out. The stage was set at a local department store, and during a crucial moment, Alice had to step through a mirror. Her dress sides knocked over the frame, surprising the audience, but not our Julie. She simply turned around, ad-libbed a line about no going back, and carried on with the show like a pro. From then on, Julie didn't just dabble in piano, dance, and ballet. She became a prodigy. By the time she strutted into John Marshall High School in Los Angeles at 14, she wasn't just known for her academic excellence and composed demeanor. At 15, Julie soared to new heights, becoming the prima ballerina at the Los Angeles Opera. And if that wasn't impressive enough, she breezed through high school, graduating the same year. That summer, as a reward for her hard work and success, Julie's mother took her on a vacation to Spain and France. When they returned home, Julie went to UCLA and studied classical piano, philosophy, and French. During college, she also joined the Jack Cole Dance Studio, becoming one of his top dancers. Jack was a famous American dancer and choreographer. He was called the father of theatrical jazz dance, and so popular that movie studios often asked him for extra dancers in their scenes. It didn't take long for movie studios to notice Julie's dance talent and look, and she started appearing in background scenes of musicals. Her first appearance was in 1952, in a film called She's Working Her Way Through College. Excited by the experience, Julie considered dropping out of college to pursue this full-time. Her father thought it wasn't a wise long-term plan, emphasizing the importance of thinking beyond physical abilities. Her mother found it thrilling, and Julie, with determination, decided to go for it. In 1953, at just 20 years old, Universal Studios noticed and hired her to teach dance routines to their up-and-coming actresses. Julie quickly became a prominent figure, choreographing her dance routines and appearing in 8 films in 1953 alone. She even taught dance to stars like Anita Ekberg. That same year, she met Louis L'Amour, a novelist, and despite their age difference, they fell in love. However, her busy schedule limited her on-screen appearances and affected what she had going on with Louis. The most insane thing happened when Julie's friend, Kathy, and Louis, her fiancé, crossed paths at an initial double date that Julie brought her to. At the time, Kathy, who was just around 20 years old, began to date Louis after he and Julie went their separate ways. It happened when Kathy drove down the street and saw Louis buying a newspaper on Sunset Boulevard. She stopped and said, "I don't know if you'll remember me." And he said, "I've been looking everywhere for you." Call it love or sheer luck, but it brought Louis and Kathy together in 1956 when they tied the knot. This didn't faze Julie. She never gave in to the reaction of being bothered by it. Instead, she began to pursue real acting roles at Universal Studios and auditioned for 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Landing the role was a breakthrough. It meant she could not only dance but also sing and act in a big-budget movie. In one of her supposed gigs, a guy she taught dancing got picked over her, and that didn't sit well with her. Julie also had to navigate her way through her disease, which was affecting the use of her legs, which damaged her leg muscles. She had to wear leg braces to support her movement. A few months later, Julie surprised everyone by buying out her apartment lease, quitting her job and moving to New York, after calling off her engagement to Louis L'Amour, who'd gone ahead to marry her friend. Her parents were shocked, thinking she might be having a breakdown, but Julie explained that she had always wanted to be in more musicals and go to Broadway. Hollywood didn't have the opportunity she sought, so off to New York she went, to live her dreams without knowing that traveling would soon become a luxury because of several health conditions. In New York, she faced challenges due to her height but took on modeling gigs, becoming a cover girl for men's magazines. Her breakthrough came with the musical Little Abner on Broadway, leading to Hollywood offers. Julie took the stage by storm, winning a Tony Award for Best Actress after captivating audiences as a house guest who seduces the husband. Despite the glamour, she stayed grounded by spending time with loved ones. Tragedy struck when her younger brother Peter passed away in a skiing accident. Devastated, but determined to stay close to her family, Julie auditioned for TV shows, as the medium was about to boom in the 60s. Now, Julie was on TV about once per season, spending the rest of her time in West Coast plays that toured the coastline. This allowed her to stay with her family and use it as a home base. Julie kept her acting skills sharp and had the luxury to be selective about the roles she took, and also the men she preferred. The whole time there wasn't a man or lover in the picture, but it wouldn't continue for long. One Friday evening she received a call from the producers of Batman, offering her a role. Initially hesitant, Julie's brother and friends convinced her it was a cool opportunity. She called back, caught a flight, and landed the iconic role of Catwoman. At that time, Catwoman had never appeared on TV or the big screen, and Julie had no visual or influence to guide her portrayal. Heck, she didn't even read the comic book, so at this point, she had no clue what she even looked like. What she did know is what they told her. When she arrived in California, they immediately took her into the wardrobe, where the seamstresses measured her and were going to form this costume. Now, over the next couple of days, they had various stages of this, and Julie wasn't happy with any of them. At first, they were baggy. Julie kept telling them to make it tighter. From that experience, Julie grew her brand from selling brasiers and pantyhoses under the name Newmar. She also decided to give love another chance in 1977, when she married John Holt Smith, a lawyer from Texas. She moved to Fort Worth to be with him. But sometimes love could never be enough. Julie found out firsthand that sometimes you could give all you have and yet get nothing in return from her 3 miscarriages before finally having a son in 1981. John Jules Smith was the profound change in her life. She considers him the best gift she could ever have. John was born with Down syndrome. Things became even worse when he was 3 years old and lost his speech and hearing to meningitis. Despite these challenges, Julie has been an exceptional mother, dedicating her life to caring for him. She calls him her personal motivator. a rock and inspiration. Julie, alongside her brother John Newmar, who encouraged her to become Catwoman, established a charitable organization supporting families with children who have Down syndrome. They provide resources and support and celebrate these children through joyful events. Unfortunately, Julie and her husband divorced in 1984, and for some reason it was not made public knowledge because the actress loved to keep her personal issues out of sight. After the divorce, she moved back to California with John, purchasing a house with a large backyard. There, she built a beautiful garden, creating a peaceful and serene space for her and John to enjoy. Once, a new owner next door wanted to tear down the wall between their yards and replace it with a fence. Concerned about the impact on her gardening and landscaping, Julie requested that the owner reconsider. Despite her plea, the owner insisted on proceeding with the plan, leaving Julie unsure of what to do next. Facing the construction challenge, Julie took legal action, securing an injunction to halt the construction. When the new owner, Jim Belushi, learned of the situation, he wanted to meet Julie. Upon meeting and understanding her concerns, Jim assured her that the wall would remain, and they became good neighbors and friends. Jim even featured Julie in an episode of his TV show, playfully titled The Grumpy Neighbor. Julie Newmar may have fought some secret battles, but the first time she'd openly speak about her battle with basal cell carcinoma was in a blog post titled The Big C in 2012. Despite her avoidance of sun exposure, she underwent multiple surgeries on her face for the condition. Perplexed by how it happened, she emphasized the importance of her face and overall health, seeking the expertise of Dr. Mollican in Beverly Hills. Subsequently, in another post, Cancer Part 2, Julie discussed her preventive measures against sun damage. While she followed precautions, her dermatologist speculated that tanning salon use might have played a role. It didn't seem like the health drama was about to end in April 2018, when Julie Newmar experienced a heart attack, but she approached it with her characteristic wit. Taking to Facebook a week later, she humorously recounted being saved by two handsome paramedics who promptly took her to St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica. Arriving at 3 a.m., she was greeted by 7 super-efficient nurses. Following the implantation of a stent, Julie made a speedy recovery. Julie may be 90 years old, but she's still taking care of her CMT condition and her son's scoliosis, which also makes him unable to walk. After suffering a broken leg 2 months before her 90th birthday, Julie and her son now mostly travel around their home, gardening, attending art classes, and other activities. She still cares for John, as she did when he was a baby. They spend their days together in Julie's garden, finding happiness in each other's company. And she spends her time writing and sharing her life experiences while also being the superhero that John needs every day.